Yes, good evening and welcome. It's the X League Prediction Show, sponsored by Easy Storage and Boxing Fight, uh, boxingfightzone.com, excuse me. And we're here 9 o'clock or 9:30 for the readout of the X League. But before we do that, we got to look at last week's results. There you have it. Let me just get my screen up there. And the X League looks a little bit like this. We have, excuse me a moment. Spit Bucket Podcast, 124 points, 512, was the only leader. Slips into second, but only 3 points behind. He scored 114. Jabby Boxing equaled that score with 502. With Sweet Pugilism, he climbed the ranks with 133 points and moves into fourth place, just a point behind Jabby Boxing. Max Calandrillo, another strong score. He closes the gap on the leaders as well to 491. And Brett Boxing Blog, well, he climbs right off the bottom of League Two, straight into X, where he didn't have to make the appearances, and he's gone into the middle of the order. Lee Mac Boxing, 134, closes the gap on the midsection, and Graham Walker, 109, let himself down 416. He'll come back strongly this week. And C. Miller, our brand new player, who will be giving us, he's given us his predictions. I'll read them out. And yes, good luck to him. But here we go for the first fight on this card. And it's Bradley Wilcox versus Mark Smither. And you can see there 14-0-0, Wilcox 14-2-0, Smither 31-33 respectively, welterweight affair over 10 rounds in Canada. And I can tell you, the league leader, Spit Bucket Podcast, and all of them, right through to BritBox. Now, that would be Spit Bucket, was Jabby Boxing, Sweet Pugilism, and a BritBox, all called unanimous decision. We haven't got Max Calandrillo predictions yet. He'll be coming in a little bit later to give me his. But I can tell you, Lee Mack, he's gone for knockout round 10 Wilcox. Graham Walker, unanimous decision Wilcox. And C. Miller, a new player, straight in with a knockout in round 6 for Bradley Wilcox. Moving on to the second fight. And it's Deaquan Rumble against Rick Horner's very own Jack Hughes, great pro friend of ours to the channel. We wish him all the best over there in Canada. However, this is, I've got the wrong fight. It's Sarah Bailey versus Valverde. There it is. Excuse me about that. Like flyweight affair over 10 rounds, 6-1-0 Bailey, 12-10-0 Valverde, 31-39. Let's go back to these predictions. Unanimous decision, says Spit Bucket, was the same. We got Jabby Boxing and Sweet Pugilism the same. Unanimous decision. Brit Boxing says unanimous decision, Bailey. Lee Mack, split decision, Bailey. Graham Walker, knockout 3, Bailey. And C. Miller, unanimous decision, Bailey. Now we get to the right fight. Rumboldt versus Jack Hughes. As I say, 1-0-0 Rumble, 10-5-1 Jack Hughes from the UK. Now, Spit Bucket Podcast has got knockout round 5 for Rumble. Was, says UD, Rumble. Jabby Boxing says knockout round 5 Rumble. As does Sweet Pugilism, knockout round 5. Knockout round 4, BritBox for Rumbold. Lee Mack, split decision Hughes. Graham Walker, unanimous decision Hughes. And C. Miller, unanimous decision Rumble. Bit of a split in the predictions there. Few point splits going to happen. Right, moving on to the next fight. And it's Connor Quinn versus Jake Dodd. 10-1-1 Quinn versus 6-0-0 Dodd. 28-31 for the Commonwealth Boxing flyweight vacant title. Let's go to Spit Bucket. Knockout round 5 Quinn. Was majority decision Quinn. Jabby Boxing, unanimous decision Quinn. As does Sweet Pugilism for Quinn. Brit Box says knockout round 7 for Quinn. Unanimous decision, says Lee Mack for Quinn. As does Graham Walker. As does C. Miller. Moving on to the big fight this side of the pond. Owen Cooper versus Konstantinos Usyk from Great Britain for the British welterweight and Commonwealth vacant titles over 12 rounds. 11-1-0 Cooper, 14-0 Usyk. Good fight. I can tell you, spit bucket, knockout, round 5, knockout, round 8, spit bucket. Says unanimous decision for Usyk. Jab at boxing says knockout, round 10 for Usyk. Sweet pugilism says unanimous decision for Usyk. Brit Box says Cooper, unanimous decision. Lee Mack says Usyk, unanimous decision. Graham Walker, majority decision, Usyk. And knockout round 8 for Konstantin Usyk for C. Miller. Interesting. Moving on to the next fight. And it's Luke McCormack versus Kane Gardner. This is a super lightweight fair to over 10 rounds. 4-0 McCormack, 18-5-0 Gardner. Spit bucket, unanimous decision McCormack. Unanimous decision McCormack. Jab at boxing says knockout round 6 for McCormack. Sweet pugilism agrees knockout, but this time round 7. Brit Box says knockout round 6 for McCormack, but Lee Mack says knockout round 2 for McCormack. Graham Walker, unanimous decision, McCormack. And C. Miller, the new player, knockout round 5 for McCormack. Let's get to the next one. And this is Ben Field versus Mason Cartwright, 10-0 Field, 23-4-1 Cartwright. Southpaw versus Orthodox. Spit Bucket Podcast says UD Field, as does Jab at Boxing, as does Sweet Pugilism, and as does Brit Boxing. All go Field, unanimous decision. We got a knockout in round 6 for Field from Lee Mack. We got a unanimous decision for Field for G. Walker, and a knockout round 3 for C. Miller for Field. It's a big lad. Could happen. Moving on. We got Alfie Clegg versus Sean Bruce for the British flyweight title that's vacant. 12-0-1 Clegg, 7-2-0 Bruce. Orthodox versus Southpaw once again. Spit bucket, unanimous decision Clegg, as does Jabber, as does Sweet Pugilism, as does Brit Boxing. Knockout round 6 for Lee Mack for Clegg. Majority decision for Bruce, says Graham Walker. And C. Miller rounds it off with a unanimous decision. To the big fight over across the pond. Emmanuel Navarrete versus Eduardo Nunes for the IBF and WBO super featherweight titles. Spit Bucket Podcast says knockout round 8 for Navarrete. We have says unanimous decision Nunes. Jab at Boxing says knockout round 8 for Nunes. We have Sweet Pugilism, unanimous decision Nunes. We have Brit Box, knockout round 10, Nunes. Lee Mack, knockout round 7, Nunes. Majority decision Nunes for Graham Walker. And split decision C. Miller for Navarrete. Got a few split that one. Moving on, Tamir Smalls, Abel Ramos, 16-0 Smalls, 28-6-3 Ramos. Good fight. Big step up. Smalls, a split decision, says Spit Bucket. Smalls UD, says as does. Jabber, as does. Sweet Pugilism, as does Brit Boxing. Lee Mack says knockout round 7 for Ramos. Interesting. Smalls, knockout round 5 for Graham Walker. And Smalls, knockout round 4 for C. Miller. Moving on, next fight. Emilio Vargas versus Augustin Quintana from Argentina. 21 versus 29. 16-0 Vargas. 22-2-1 Quintana. Not a lot of people giving this guy a chance. Knockout round 3 says Spit Bucket. Knockout round 2 says Was. Knockout round 5 says Jab It. All for Vargas. Sweet Pugilism says unanimous decision Vargas. Brit Boxing says knockout round 8 Vargas. Knockout round 6 for Lee Mack. Knockout round 4 for Graham Walker. And knockout round 8 for C. Miller. All for Vargas. Quintana no love. Moving on. Arturo Paporcha versus Jordan Martinez for the WBC Continental America Super Bantamweight title. 17-0-1 Paporcha. 16-0-0 Jordan Martinez. Mexico versus USA. Someone's O has got to go. Or has it? It could be a draw. Paporcha UD says Spit Bucket. Knockout round 8. Paporcha says Was. Knockout round 7 for Paporcha says Jab It Boxing. Unanimous decision for Sweet Pugilism for Martinez. Brit Boxing says majority decision Martinez. UD Lee Mack for Paporcha, as does Graham Walker. And split decision for Paporcha says Lee Miller. Moving on, the final card. 3 fights to go. Elijah Pierce versus Lorenzo Parra for the WBO International Featherweight belt. 21-2-0 Pierce. 23-1-1 Parra. Good fight. Knockout round 8 for Spit Bucket for Pierce. Unanimous decision Pierce says Was. Knockout round 5 Pierce for Jab It. Unanimous decision Pierce says Sweet Pugilism. As does Brit Boxing. Majority decision for Pierce. Knockout round 5, Graham Walker for Pierce. And unanimous decision for C. Miller for Pierce. Parra, no love. Moving on. Bryce Mills versus Tobias Green for the WBC Silver Super Lightweight title. 21-0 Mills. 12-3-1 Tobias Green. He drew his last fight. Unanimous decision Spit Bucket podcast. For Mills, as does. Was, as does. Jab It, as does. Sweet Pugilism, as does. Brit Boxing, all UD Mills. Knockout round 5, Lee Mack. Knockout round 5, Graham Walker. And unanimous decision for C. Miller, all for Mills. Not one person went for Green. The final fight is the young Kamel Moulton. We all know about him. He's 8-0 now. Is this a step up? 12-6-1. We're about to find out. Southpaw Orthodox, 36 years of age. Wilfredo Flores. Spit Bucket says Moulton will do it in 4. He'll be on the floor. Knockout. Knockout round 3 for Was. We all agree. Because Jab It agrees. Knockout round 3. Knockout round 6, it won't be effects, says Sweet Pugilism. It'll be man alive in round 5, Kamel Moulton for Brit Boxing. And again, Lee Mack agrees. Round 3 for Kamel Moulton. It won't be effects in round 6 for Graham Walker. Knockout for Moulton. And C. Miller, sensibly, or is it? Unanimous decision Moulton. There you have it. 15 fights. Apologies for the mistakes earlier on, but we got a nice rhythm and flow. Easy Storage is our proud partners along with Boxing Fight Zone. And there you have it. There's the table once again for X League. There you have it. Now, we'll be back next week for Fight Week 6. If this is the first time you've been watching Red Corner Boxing, please give us a like and subscribe. It's absolutely free and it helps the Grand Old Show. But don't take my word for it. Roll the tape.
Alright guys, it's Brad Pauls, the Nuki Bomb here. Give Red Corner Boxing a like and subscribe. Check them out. Great bunch of lads. Get up, Corner Boys.
Get up, says Brad Pauls. We thank Brad and salute him. And we salute you all. But for me, Mr. Neutral, and my partner Jams, here at Red Corner Boxing, X League will be back next week. Same time, 9:30. Till then, bye-bye.
Red Corner Boxing. We're in the game.